Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Father Ted Talks. Today, I wanted to talk about a topic that might be a little bit controversial, but a lot of people ask me about this, and that is about gurus and idols within the church. Now, what do I mean by gurus and idols? Well, of course, I'm referring to the way we approach having a spiritual father within the church. Now, first of all, what is a spiritual father? Well, in the Orthodox tradition, the spiritual father is the person who is most likely your confessor, the priest that you go to do confession, to confess your sins, and also to receive spiritual guidance and advice. And we know that in the Orthodox tradition, everybody should have a confessor or a spiritual father. And this is something that is essential to our spiritual growth. And so everybody in an ideal situation would be going to their local church, would be participating in the sacramental life of that church, receiving Holy Communion on a regular basis, participating in the sacraments, and also confessing to their local priest. This is the ideal, that we are, living the Orthodox lifestyle within the local place that we live, right? So this is the ideal because it is very, very good to establish not only good relationships with the people at church, but also to establish a good and regular relationship with your local priest who knows you, who knows your history, and who can help you. In this instance, the local priest is very, very much like your family doctor, right? Your family doctor, your general practitioner, as we say, the GP, is somebody that you would go to anytime you have a cold, or you have a pneumonia, or you have a myriad of other illnesses that are kind of your everyday illnesses. And the general practitioner, the family doctor, is more than capable of prescribing the proper medication to help you feel better and to get over that particular illness. Now, sometimes when we have an acute illness, or we have something that is more serious, then of course, sometimes the family doctor will send us to a specialist. And the specialist is somebody who will know how to better diagnose and also treat a more serious illness. In the Orthodox Church, and this is an example that was given to me by a friend of mine who was a monastic, who's still a monastic many, many years ago, he told me that the church is very much like this, that the local church is kind of like going to your general practitioner's, your family doctor's office, and we go there for healing. And the average person who doesn't have any serious spiritual problems has kind of like the everyday sins that we all deal with. This is more than sufficient to go to the church and to be humble enough to go to your home, to your home parish and to your home priest, and to be able to confess on a regular basis and to grow and to continue on your spiritual journey. But sometimes when somebody needs something more, something that is, I guess, more specialized, or needs something that is more advanced in the spiritual warfare, then a person will go to the hospital or to the ICU. And my monastic friend said, well, if the church is kind of like your family doctor's office, then the monastery will be more like the hospital or the ICU. Now, that's really good as well to think of it in this way, that the monastery is a place where there are people who are more dedicated and are praying on a much more fervent level. And a lot of times, kind of gerondes and spiritual fathers who are renowned are residing in monasteries or in hermitages and things like that. Gerondes, like, for example, the modern day saints of St. Paisios or St. Porphyrios, who lived on Mount Athos, St. Nectarios of Aegina, and so forth, that lived kind of like in these special places, and people would seek them out for special needs and also for very specific spiritual problems. And so these are people who are extremely holy, and people seek them out when there is a serious problem. So this is also good within the church. We have the general practitioner's office, which is good for most people, but then in specific situations where there is a serious problem that requires something more, we have monasteries, and we have spiritual gerondes who are more advanced in specific spiritual problems. And so this is how we see it. And we think about it like this because nobody wants to go live in the ICU. Nobody wants to live in the hospital. People want to live in their homes. If you go to the ICU, it's good that you're there because there are professionals who can help you. But the point is to get better and leave the ICU so you can go back to your regular life, right? So the ICU is not the destination. It's not the place where we want to be all the time, unless you're a monastic living that lifestyle. And so sometimes what happens is, going back to the topic of gurus and idols, is that, and this happens especially in North America, because we come from like a pop culture, celebrity culture, which sometimes influences us when we think about the faith, is that we are enamored with holy people, and we see their sanctity, which is a beautiful thing, and we want to seek them out and we almost want to have an exclusive connection to them, and denigrate or downgrade our local parishes, our local priests, our local lay people, all the family, the local family that we have here in the church. We denigrate those things, or we put them on a lower level, and we feel that we need to have something special, something beyond. And so we seek out certain individuals and we make them into idols for ourselves. We make them into gurus through no fault of their own. Many times this is us, how we view them. And so this is not a healthy thing from a spiritual point of view, right? To have a spiritual father is to have somebody who is close by, who is local, who we have a relationship with. A lot of people that say, well, I don't go to any of my local priests, I know them too well, or they're not spiritual enough for me, and I go to this one specific person who lives thousands and thousands of miles away, and I only see them once every 2 years. That's my spiritual father. And my response to that would be, are they really? Is it possible to have such a strong and close familial connection with somebody that you only see once every few years, or when you travel to another country, or maybe that spiritual father visits once in a while? Is it possible to have such a strong connection with that person and to be able to be guided on a regular basis? Or am I seeking out something special because I feel that I'm special and I require something more? A lot of times it's a reflection of ourselves, that, of our own ego, our own pride, that I want the rock star priest. I want the special priest. I want something more than what my average priest can give me. I don't think this is spiritually helpful. I know this is an unpopular kind of point of view to convey to all of you, but it is my firm belief that most of us, we should just go to our local church, participate in the sacraments, be humble, keep our head down, not think too much about and dwell too much about our sins, but rather work on them every day, listen to our local priest, which most of them will give us good advice, right? Like the average cold, the average flu, our general practitioner, our family doctor can help us. And if we have something that requires immediate attention, that is something beyond, then sometimes our local priest can refer us to somebody else who can help us even more, or has more experience in that particular area of spirituality. But beyond that, most of us do not require to seek out anything kind of beyond our average local parish. And so this is something that we need to think about, right? Because a lot of times what happens is that people flock to, individuals, and we make celebrities out of them, which overburdens them as well, because it's impossible for one person, even a saintly person, to be able to keep track of thousands and thousands and thousands of people and to have meaningful relationships with them, especially over long distances and through social media and things like that. Very, very hard to know those people and to be able to help them in an effective way. And, we tend to overburden those people by following them around because we have made them into our guru, made them into our idol. And so this is something we should be very, very careful for. Again, I'm not saying that we should not visit holy people. I've had very wonderful experiences with such people in my own life, and I'm grateful for God putting them into my path. But my spiritual father is a local priest here in Toronto. I've been going to him for 20 years. He is very capable. He is very competent. He is a spiritual person, and that's all I need. I don't need to seek out something special. Who am I that I require something special? I don't require anything special because I'm not special. I seek out the priest who is closest by, who has the priesthood, which is Christ, and he is able to guide me properly. Beyond that, I don't need many other things. And so this is something that we need to look out for. It could be a spiritual trap for us to always feel that we require or we deserve the best and seek it out. We do it in other parts of our lives. We want our kids to go to the best school. We want our kids to have the best doctor. We want our kids to have the best tutor, all these kind of things, which is normal. But in the spiritual life, there are many, many people who are very, very capable within the Orthodox Church, within our parishes, and all of us are there to help us. They're all there to help us. And we should be able to acknowledge them instead of always assuming that there's always something better somewhere else. This is not, I think, spiritually fruitful for us or helpful. And it also kind of creates a disconnect between our local spiritual life and our local Orthodox family and what we tend to chase after other places because we feel that it is holier or better or something that our local church cannot offer to us. We should focus on our local parishes and make them holy, make them spiritual with our own presence there. This is, I think, the way to go so that we can build up our parishes, build up our communities, and have a balance within our spiritual lives. That's all I had to say about that. Till next time, take care. God bless.